Hey, everybody out there in Facebook land. I realize that I'm not getting any video on this. I don't know if anybody's actually tuning in. This is an experiment. I'm working with Spreaker. It should be sharing live to Facebook and Twitter. I'm doing this because my wonderful producer and sound engineer, Alex Deshane, who is gloriously patient with me. He is, first off, Alex is like, I'm going to rant about him because he's hopefully going to be able to hear this. He's just so incredibly brilliant, and dedicated to his craft and to the day-to-day and putting in, he says every day I do my 15-minute, guitar exercises. And I mean, he's, this is a guy who, Alex I think has a master's in music. I mean, he's certainly qualified to have a doctorate in music. And he and his girlfriend Kat are two of my favorite people on the planet. They've treated me so wonderfully. But anyway, that's not here nor there. So, Alex wants me to do vocal exercises with the microphone and kind of work on what's sounding good when it's mixed down. And, I'm working on training my voice and not being winded when I'm doing readings. So I'm gonna be doing some readings of short stories and putting those up, doing it as an exercise, sending it to Alex, and then eventually I'm going to put them up on my Patreon. And that way, if there's anybody who actually likes hearing the sound of my voice, they can go over to my Patreon and donate or pledge, I should say, $1, and get to hear me read short stories by, like Robert E. Howard, which is what the vocal exercise I did yesterday. I read a little bit of Robert E. Howard, The Phoenix and the Sword, which is the first Conan story that was ever published. And as I said in that, very interestingly, Howard wrote the Conan stories out of sequence sequentially. He didn't write the first Conan story when Conan's 15-year-old warrior that's already on the council of his tribe. The first short story, Phoenix and the Sword, Conan's already sitting on the throne of Aquilonia, and it starts off with this guy talking with his one of his lieutenants, co-conspirators, is planning on having a group of other people assassinate Conan, which is like, I mean, hey, we've all seen Fistful of Dollars. I hope, or if not, you've seen Yojimbo, or maybe even Red Harvest, the novel by Dashiell Hammett. I can't believe I had that brain fart. That's terrible. But Clint Eastwood rides into town, and you're seeing his, you don't insult his mule. And, who's dumb enough to try and assassinate Conan the Barbarian? King Conan. Conan of Aquilonia at this point, not Conan the Cimmerian. So, anyway. So, I'm going to tell everybody a little story about my stand against corporate swindling. All right, so I'm trying to get my phone bill paid. And I have just enough money to cover the past due amount. And I had set up automatic payments starting next month on a new debit card I had that's going to start getting money into it from New York State unemployment. And I wake up this morning because I want to get over to the AT&T store and make sure that I pay my past due balance before my full balance becomes past due and they shut off my phone, which they'd love doing, and then charge you a $40 fee for it. So I take the bus over to the AT&T store and I go in. I wait a few moments. They're dealing with some customers, and a gentleman comes out and, can I help you? I said, yeah. My phone number's 516. So hold on one second. I'm just going to wait for the network. And that's the other thing that it drives me insane. Is like the network in the store, AT&T, it takes them forever for their iPads to load up. It's ridiculous. So anyway, he puts in my phone number. I say, listen, I was setting up a payment arrangement for next month. They charged to this account for 2 months. I don't have any money in that account right now. That was supposed to start next month. I had made a payment arrangement to take care of the past due balance with you today. And it wasn't on this card. It was on another card. And we need to deal with this. The guy says, I'm sorry, sir, but I can't do anything about this. You have to call AT&T. You have to call the home office or whatever the term is now. So I say to him, I said, listen, I just took the bus over here. I got enough money on 2 debit cards and the cash in my pocket to pay my past due balance to make sure that my phone doesn't get turned off. And you're telling me I can't do that. He says, I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing I can do to help you. I said, all right, I understand that you are simply an employee of AT&T and there's no, you don't have any recourse to handle this. But I said, I got to, be honest with you. I've lived in Massapequa Park for 10 years, and the service for AT&T has always been abysmal. He says, yeah, I know, it's terrible, They just built a new cell phone tower. The old cell phone tower, and I interrupt him, I say, the old cell phone tower got washed out during Superstorm Sandy, right? Yes, sir, that's when it happened. And I said, and it's taken AT&T 10 years. One of the largest, wealthiest multinational corporations, 10 years to build a cell phone tower in the village of Massapequa. Well, sir, you would have to talk to the town of Oyster Bay about that and complain to them about that because they wouldn't give AT&T the permit to build the cell tower. At this point, I said to him, I know that is the corporate line that they're telling you to say to people, but please, don't tell me that. That is absolutely unbelievable. That AT&T couldn't get the permit to build a cell tower in the town of Oyster Bay. By the way, for those of you who are not in New York is divided up. You have towns, villages, and hamlets. So the village of Massapequa Park and the village of Massapequa are in the town of Oyster Bay. I said, you're telling me that AT&T couldn't get a permit to build a cell phone tower from the town of Oyster Bay. One of the most notoriously corrupt municipalities in the state of New York, making it one of the most notoriously corrupt municipalities in the United States of America. You're telling me AT&T couldn't find somebody to bribe at the town of Oyster Bay to get a cell tower built? And at this point, he's, sir, calm down. I said, listen, I know that I'm making a scene and I'm embarrassing you. And I'm sorry that, I'm putting you through this on a Saturday morning, but I am going to make a scene. I said, this last year has been terrible for so many people. I said, I'm collecting unemployment, and New York State decides, oh, well, we're not going to give you unemployment this month because we don't have a record of you working, even though my former employer sent them records because I started a new job after the new year of 2020, and they cut off my benefits in June of last year, and I had to fight to get them back. And then when I reapplied again, they're like, oh, we're going to give you the federal benefits, but we're not going to give you the state benefits. And I had to fight to get that back again. Now, meanwhile, I'm desperately trying to pay my phone bill. And I'm at the end of my rope. Because I'm on the verge of being evicted. As soon as New York State allows evictions to happen again, my landlords are going to evict me because they want me out of here, and I guarantee you they want everybody else that lives in this building out of here because they're going to finally sell it to the restaurant downstairs. So I walk out of the store. I call AT&T. Of course, AT&T says, unusually long wait times. We're sorry. If you want to chat with someone, we can have a chat operator talk to you. A voice operator is going to be at least 5 minutes. Put my phone on speaker, put it in my pocket, I start walking home. 12 minutes later, they haven't picked up yet. So 12 minutes later, I hang up the phone, call them back again. They say, unusually long wait times, yada, yada, yada. I sit down on a park bench by the train station because my knee is throbbing and my back is hurting. And finally, an operator answers. Excuse me, I tried to mute didn't. Hold on. Got to remember to hydrate during vocal exercises, right, folks? And so anyway, I finally get on the phone. And I'm talking to a man on the phone. And very nice. How can I help you, Mr. Kennedy? And I explained to him my experience. And I said, and after all this, what I had said, you know, when I told the person at the store, because I couldn't deal with my problem at the store, when I told them about my issue with the service at AT&T, the audacity that the company line was that we couldn't get a cell phone tower built over the course of a decade because the town of Hempstead wouldn't give us a permit was unacceptable. And that AT&T's service compared to their price is terrible across the board, and that their profit margin as a company is obscene, and that I am a 50-year-old man who is living day to day on the verge of being evicted like 40 million other Americans. And I don't know what to do right now. I said I got $100 in my pocket. I got $170 on debit cards. My past due balance is $250. I can't pay it to you guys today, and you're going to shut my phone off, and then I'm going to have to come up with $500 to pay you to get it to turn it back on, and then you're going to hit me for another $40 charge next month. And I'm a 50-year-old man standing on a street corner on a Saturday morning